Okay. Good evening, everyone. I hope you can all hear me. So if you can hear me, you can just react so that I get to understand that everyone here can get me clearly. Okay, that's cool. Thank you. Someone has already confirmed it. So we are going to start. It's going to be a very short one. We are scheduled to finish by 9 p.m. East African time. We are not going to take a lot of time here. It is just part of introduction. Then we are going to be following the timetable the way it is shared for those who are interested for this program. With the Python programming, we shall be having like this on every Wednesdays and Friday. That is East African time, and that is at 6 p.m. the Nigerian time and 5 p.m. Ghanaian time. For Ugandans, then it's just the same as Kenyans. So the aim of having this program ongoing at this particular point of time is to get to develop skills and solve real world problems using Python programming. With Python programming, we have different tools that we can use, starting from PyCharm as a software. I shared the link for downloading it. Then we also have Anaconda for Python programming, but most of the time we are going to be using PyCharm. So I'm going to start direct because we are already 12 minutes late. So if you're asked to define Python, because now being the introduction class, that is what we are going to focus. Python is a powerful, that's how it is defined, that is how it is considered. It's a very powerful and it's beginner-friendly programming language known for its simplicity. You cannot compare Python to other programming languages like C++, like JavaScript, because many people will always prefer Python programming. So it's also its readability and a vast ecosystem of libraries, and that makes Python to stand a chance over other programming languages. And also, it is one of the most common, the well-known programming languages, and it is used especially in data science, web development, research, artificial intelligence, machine learning, and even software development. So our focus in this Python programming course is going to be solving a problem. The moment I mention solving a problem is we are going to focus on Python libraries for data analysis and data science only. We are not going to focus on web development. We are going to focus on data science and data analysis. The moment we focus on data science and data analytics, then we're already touching on research, we're already touching on artificial intelligence and machine learning. Then when it comes to software development, we are not going to focus on that, but you'll come to realize that by the time we are going to be transiting from Python for data analysis to Python for data science, then we are supposed to be building some softwares. And for these softwares to work, we are going to be hosting them, to be deploying the softwares using Streamlit, a platform that allows you to deploy your codes for free. And you can share the link with people so that they can test what you've developed. So when it comes to the data field, which is our focus here, when it comes to the data field, you can use Python in several locations, starting from cleaning and cleaning your data. And that is very, very easy. If you're having your data set either in JSON file, in Excel, that is the most common, or in CSV, you can easily import your file to Python, and then you can clean and you can write some syntax to solve the problem using your data set. Then Python is also very rich in libraries. And when it comes to the data field, the moment I mention data field, I'm talking about data analysis and data science. So the rich ecosystem of libraries in the data field for Python, the most common ones that you will always use, start from, okay, let me first explain what I mean by the term library. Um, Python programming, the way I introduced it, can be used by data scientists, can be used by data analysts, can be used for web development, can be used for machine learning and artificial intelligence. So we usually have something called the packages or the libraries. If you want to perform a specific function, for example, if you want to visualize your data, you are supposed to know which library am I going to use. Okay, so that is what I mean when I say library. So every time you want to perform a specific task in Python, you are supposed to know the library that you're going to use. This moment, I'm going to take you through some common libraries that are well known for Python programming when it comes to the data field. And to start with is NumPy. NumPy in full is a numerical Python, and it is used for numerical operation. Just from the name, you'll come to realize that all these library names, they usually reflect directly to the function they play. So NumPy, in full, it is called numerical Python. It is used for numerical operations. We have pandas. Pandas is for data manipulation. Then we have matplotlib. Just from the name matplotlib, plot, it is used to plot, to do visualization, coming up with graphs and all those plots. If you need to plot and see how the trend of data that you're having in Python, you're going to use matplotlib. You can also use a library called plotly. Just from the name plotly, you have plot. We also have a library called Seaborn that is used for advanced data visualization. So if you want to come up with plots, you can use matplotlib for basic plots. But if you want to generate advanced plots, you can use Seaborn or plotly. Then we have a library called scikit-learn. Scikit-learn is for machine learning. We also have stats models for statistical analysis. From the name stats, that is statistical analysis. Then, apart from PyCharm, we can use the Jupyter Notebook for interactive data exploration. Data exploration is the process of trying to understand what your data contains. Okay, so PyCharm can also do data integration, and it easily integrates with the softwares like Excel. PyCharm integrates with Python programming integrates with SQL. SQL, or some people will call it SQL, in full is the structured query language for creating and managing databases. Okay, we also have the APIs and even R. R, that is RStudio for. Okay, let me moderate the pace as I write the spelling for all those libraries. So I'm going to present a word file. Then I'll be writing as we move on. So I was talking about integration, how Python programming integrates with other tools like SQL, that is the structured query language for database management system. Then we have APIs. You have R. R is specifically for statisticians. Okay. So let me present a different screen so that we get to agree on what I'm talking about. Just a minute. Okay, so I'll be typing here. Allow me to increase the font to something that we can all see while presenting. Then I'm also going to bold my text. I'm going to use a heavy font. Okay, so I was talking about NumPy. The spelling for NumPy is okay, sorry, it's not typing. It's supposed to be here. So this is the spelling for NumPy. So N and P are capital, and this one I was saying is used for numerical operations. So num stands for number or numericals, then Py is Python. I was talking about pandas as well for data manipulation. I was talking about matplotlib. Matplotlib, it is a single name. Stroke Seaborn for advanced plots in Python. Then we also have Plotly. We have the scikit-learn. This one is for machine learning. The other one we have is the stats model. These are libraries that there are very many, but these are the common ones that you keep using every time. This one is for statistical analysis from the name. Then we have Jupyter Notebook for interactive data exploration. So you can also note that down. Jupyter Notebook. I'll show you how to use Jupyter Notebook, even though you're going to be using PyCharm IDE for Python programming, but we can also decide to use PyCharm. The good thing is that the codes will always remain the same. So I was talking about integration. Integration is how Python can integrate with other softwares like the structured query language, the APIs, and even RStudio for statisticians. Then the community support is also so large when it comes to PyCharm, and PyCharm is open source, meaning you can download it for free. Okay. So another thing that has been trending when it comes to programming, because now here we are going to focus on the data field. Okay, we are going to focus on the data field, and we are going to be checking data scientist versus data analyst. So that is data science versus data analysis. So many people still think, what is the best tool to use? Should I use Python for my programming, or should I use R? Okay. So people will always still struggle to select between Python and R, but you can always know all, because they all have different libraries that perform different functions. So I'm going to briefly, because this is a Python session, I'm going to briefly tell you why most people will always prefer Python, but some people will always prefer also R, RStudio for R programming. So number one thing you're supposed to know is the ease of use. Then Python is very easy to use. That is, the codes are not as hard as compared to other programming languages. I will always compare Python to languages like the C++, JavaScript, and even PHP. Then, when it comes to data wrangling, okay, it is very fast, and it can handle large data sets. One thing you're supposed to know, any software you install in your computer or your laptop, it usually uses a memory space. When you are running these libraries in your laptop, there's a certain memory space that is in usage. So when it comes to Python, it is fast. So this means it's not going to use a lot of your memory space. Then when it comes to visualization, I was mentioning the matplotlib. This is the most common one. Matplotlib, wrong spelling, matplotlib. But we have specific softwares that are meant for data visualization, like the Power BI and Tableau. Those are just two examples. There are more than 20. But now you see also Python is able to do data visualization. So this means when you've mastered Python as a programming language, then you're just good to go. You can clean your data. You can do some predictions in machine learning. You can visualize your data. Then I was talking about machine learning and artificial intelligence. That is ML and AI. We have very common libraries like the scikit-learn. I mentioned that already. And we also have the PyTorch. That is the right spelling. P and T are capital. And we also have TensorFlow for machine learning. The libraries are so friendly, they're easy to use, and you can easily do statistical modeling and be able to draw insights from the research that you are doing. Then when it also comes to the community, it is open source, meaning it's free to download. You can download the free version, but there's also a professional version that is a paid one. The difference between the community version and a professional version is that when you're having a community version of PyCharm for Python programming, you can only do it in your local computer. But when you are using a professional, the paid version, you can be like a group of 5 people you are working on one project. So you can use a professional version of PyCharm programming, and when one person is making the changes on his or her side, then the changes appears on the other 4 people's on the other 4 people's laptop. So it actually makes collaboration so easier. You people don't have to meet if you are working on a project as a group. You don't have to meet. Every person just sit on his or her place. Then you can code, and the changes are updating in each person's location. Then when it comes to deployment, I mentioned Streamlit. It's very easy to deploy your apps via Streamlit. But when it comes to R, we usually have something called the Shiny for deploying your projects. But sometimes it usually run into problems. So you'll come to realize that Streamlit is very easy. So a conclusion on this, I'm not trying to underrate R as a software for statistical analysis, but one thing I'm trying to tell you is that when it comes to selection of either using Python or R, you are supposed to be very keen. Anything to do with statistical analysis, anything statistics, R will always beat Python. Because what is R? R is a programming language specifically developed for statisticians. So anything you are doing that requires statistics or statistical analysis, then R is better. But anything that you are doing that requires machine learning, prediction, real world deployment, you want to deploy your project and share your link for people to see it, Python is better. That is the biggest difference between Python and R. So I also talk about the other uses of Python programming, such as web development. We have libraries for web development. If you've always heard about, let me type it here. Even though it's not our focus, but I'm just mentioning it. If you've always heard about Flask and Django, these are what are used for web development in Python. Then artificial intelligence and machine learning. I've already talked about the TensorFlow, PyTorch. I've already talked about the scikit-learn. When it comes to software development, it is also better for scripting, automating your task, and also building desktop application. Then the last thing is also Python can be used for APIs and automation. That's literally like artificial intelligence, where you want to integrate your systems, APIs, and automate tasks that are repeating themselves, so that you don't want to repeat every time. So Python is not just a programming language, it is a complete tool set for solving data problems, building intelligent system, and creating scalable solution. So this means when you are able to master Python programming, you're just good to go. You can literally do everything. You can decide to learn libraries for data analysis, libraries for data science, and when you cover each and every library, then you realize that you're going to be good to go. So generally, Python is more powerful than R, but R, when it comes to statistical analysis and generating reports, R is better than Python. The difference is because R is specifically meant for statistics, but Python is general. You can say it can be used for web development, scientific research, artificial intelligence, machine learning, and so just get to know the difference as we are going to cover our Python programming course. So I'm going to visualize a different screen here. I I made some notes. That was last year September, and I was updating them early this month, and the notes are still up to date. I trust the notes, and I believe we can still use them because they are updated. So I'm going to visualize them. I'm going to present them here. Let me present the notes for you. WPS. Okay, here. So this is how usually I come up with my own notes. I try to summarize based on the number of classes that are supposed to be there, and then I make sure that everything has been covered. So this course is supposed to have 16 classes. This means that by the end of the second month, starting from today, you're supposed to be so tough when it comes to Python programming, and that is not a lot of time because it is not like a daily thing. You can decide to dedicate your time and get knowledge on Python programming. So the first thing here is introduction to Python and basic syntax. Then number two, we have the control flow. One thing I want to tell you when it comes to programming, you don't have to rush. Like you are introducing yourself to a programming language on the first day or the first week, you already want to come up with systems that you want to deploy and even to showcase your work on the first week. That is not the right way to go. You're supposed to go step by step. There's something called syntax when it comes to every programming language. The moment you master the syntax, you are good to go. The moment you master how these loops are created, how repetitive tasks that are repeat themselves can be handled, then it means that you are able to solve problem. It's not about a matter of rushing. It's a matter of gaining a skill so that you can be able even to tackle a question in an interview setting. So the second thing here is the control flow, where you're going to come up with conditional statements and loops. That is very key when it comes to Python programming. Then we also have functions in Python. That is very key. Creating functions in Python and assigning functions so that you avoid to repeat the same block of codes again and again. So we are going to get to a point whereby your work is just to copy and paste because the codes are repeating themselves. So this is where we are going to introduce functions. You assign a function to a block of code. So every time you need to use it again, you just call the function instead of typing the whole block of code again. Then number four, we have something called the data structures. I divided them into two because they are very, very important. You're supposed to master them. So the data structure, in a data structure section 1, you're supposed to cover the list and tuples in Python programming. Then data structure section 2, you're supposed to cover the dictionary and sets. Number 6 is file handling in Python. Here we are going to learn how to handle different files like the XZ files, CSV, and JSON file, depending with the kind of data that you're dealing with, our focus being in the field of data. Then number 7 is error and exception handling. We shall check that, how to handle the syntax errors, the runtime errors when coding, when doing some Python, when writing some Python programs. Then number 8 is object-oriented programming, and it is usually most commonly known as OOP. So OOP I've divided into two because it is also very important. So number 8, we are going to have our OOP1, where we are going to look on classes and objects, attributes and methods. Then number 9, we are going to check on object-oriented programming 2, that is OOP2. Here we are going to check on inheritance, polymorphism, method overriding, and encapsulation. By the time you're going to be in class 9, you're just good to go because the moment you master object-oriented programming, then it means you can literally solve very different. Number 10 is working with libraries. It's going to be a repetition. This is going to be Class 10 is not going to be a single class because we have very many libraries, and it is a lie to say that we can cover all libraries in a single day. So working with libraries and modules, it's going to take us time because we have to understand the syntax. We are not going to cram the codes. How are you going to use matplotlib for data visualization? It is not about cramming how to write the syntax for matplotlib, okay? The code for matplotlib, but it is about getting to understand the syntax. How are you going to start to write a code after calling matplotlib library? How are you going to finish? What are the steps? Okay. Then number 11, you're going to working with dates and times. Of course, that is it's going to be a very short session, and it's key. We are going to see how to work with different time zones and the date time module. It's also a library, but we are not going to cover it in class 10 because it's wide and it's a topic by itself. We shall cover it in class 11. Then number 12, we have something called the regular expressions. Here we shall cover the things like the pattern matching, matching groups, replacing, splitting, modifying. Shall see that. Then we shall see how to work with JSON and CSV. Remember, I've already mentioned something like this earlier, but because our focus is on the data field, and this is what you're going to be meeting most of the time, then we are going to have a repetition of it in class number 13. Number 14, we are going to have something called web scraping. Web scraping, we are going to use a library called the Beautiful Soup 4. This is the spelling here, Beautiful Soup. But when you're calling it in Python, you call it as Beautiful Soup 4. So here, what are we going to learn here? I'm going to teach you how to do data collection. Data collection, I'm going to teach you how to do data collection in websites. I'm going to teach you how to do data collection in Instagram. I'm going to teach you how to do data collection in Facebook. I'm going to teach you how to do data collection even in Twitter. Why? Because here, our aim is what is the aim of a data analyst? Your aim is solving a problem that exists. For example, you've been presented with a business related problem. Someone wants to start a business in a certain city, but this person wants to know what are some of the requirements. Is this kind of business already existing? If it's already existing, what are some of different methods I can come up with that are going to attract customers? So you see, for you as a data person, in this case, you're supposed to do data collection because most of the times when you want to solve a real world problem, data is not readily available. You are supposed to collect data by yourself to be able to make decision. So for you to make this decision, you're going to scrape data from social media platforms or from websites. So this is what you're going to cover in class 14. It is going to be very interesting. We are going to just write codes and then we shall send our code to Instagram, let our code collect data, then it returns to us the codes. And that is why I was telling you, by the time you're going to be in class 9, you're just good to go because for you to be able to write codes for web scraping, you're supposed to be good in calling functions. And a function is already covered even before class 9. Okay. Number 15 or class number 15 is the introduction to APIs and RESTful services. We shall see. We shall get to understand how to work with APIs, how to send HTTP requests from websites, and also introduction to API authentication, because even for you to collect data, you need to use an API. So if you've just been hearing about API, you're going to see it here. We are going to create our own APIs. Of course, this social media platform will always allow you to create your own API. Then you can always do your data. You can always collect your data using your own API, so that when you violate the rules, you can easily be traced using your own API. So every time you are working with data, it's good to maintain data integrity, or it's good to follow the data privacy rules. So class number 16 is going to be the final project and advanced topics overview. This one is going to take much of our time, because now what is it? Just from the name, final project and advanced topics, because now being the final class, you're supposed to do what? You're supposed to be able to come up with a project that integrates the knowledge from class 1 to class 15. Okay? So apart from also just coming up with a project, you're supposed also to learn the advanced topics in Python programming. That is get deep into these libraries, even though we've already covered it in a step earlier, but now getting deep in NumPy, understanding the logic in Pandas, understanding the logic in Matplotlib and Seaborn. Then in every class, we are going to be having an interactive session. And apart from having an interactive session, we are going to be having an assignment. So it's now upon the student to make sure that after every class, you get to know what have I learned, and reflect in assignment that has been provided. Then you can do a follow-up on the same. Try to come up with something different. Try to write up your own code. So the good thing about our website is automated. And this PDF I'm not going to share to you guys, but I'm going to guide you on how you can get it. So I'm going to present a different screen here. So let me present a different screen. I just want to guide you how to be able to trace notes once in the website, so that you can make your work easier. So let me present something different here. I hope. So here is it. So this is our website. I just hope that it is visible, and the screen is not cropped, because I want to show you something. So I can see this. The screen is not cropped. Let me confirm. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, I can see the screen is not cropped. So here, once you're at the website, you're just supposed to use your email to sign up. After signing up, you're supposed to log in. So once you log in, I want you to see where my cursor is here on the top right corner over here. Your name is supposed to appear here using the name of the email that you have used to log into the website. So here, the moment you are here, your name is here. Drop down menu. So this drop down menu that appears here, when you click on it, a menu is going to appear again. Okay, a menu appears here. So you click on it like this, you'll see different things appearing on the screen. And the first one, I hope you can see. When you miss on something, you just let me know. The first one is profile. The second one is my programs, my groups, my bookings, and my account. So if you want to edit your name, maybe you can go onto my account and edit your name. My bookings, if you book a consultation session, you want to consult on something, maybe what you missed during the class, your bookings will appear here. Your subscription is not that important, but my groups is important, because the moment you're added to a program, you must be in that group's program. Every time we usually communicate via the WhatsApp group. Sometimes we usually post updates using the specific course group in the website. So our website has groups for each program. So under my groups, you can get the groups that you are currently active. Then my programs is important. So for you to see your program, the program that you are currently taking, you go to my program. So once you click on my program, supposed to appear. So let me pop up. So this is what is supposed to appear. So your program like this. Then you can see here programs, track the progress of your programs. Okay. So here you can view program. You see this button, view program. So let me click on it. When you click on view program, When you click on under here, you can see the progress of your program. Mine is 0%. Why? I have not started yet. So the system is automated. Any step that you finish, I'll just fill this thing so that it fails to appear every time. I'm going to disable it. I think it's really distracting the session. So once you're on this screen, I want to show you how to be accessing the notes. So how many classes do we have for our Python course? We have 16 classes. So once you log in, you're supposed to see 16 steps here. Okay? Right now, I can only see 4 steps. Why? Because these 4 steps are the ones that are the notes have been uploaded. So I'm in the process of uploading the notes, because the process of uploading the notes include uploading the videos. So if you miss a class, for example, this class, I am recording it. So if you miss a class, you will find the recording here. You are going to find the notes here. So how are you going to find the notes? So today is class 1. So here you can see number 1 is Introduction to Python and Basic Syntax. This is what appears on the notes. So everything that appears on the PDF that I've been showing you is here as well. So when you click on the drop down menu, you are going to see each and every step that you're supposed to cover here. For example, the first step is writing and running a simple script. So when you open the step, you just click on it. The moment you click on it, it's going to load. It's supposed to appear on this window here. So you're going to give it, depending on the network, the note is going to appear. So every time you're having a class, you can open this window and you can do the follow-up. Okay. So let me see. Did I upload the notes here? It's supposed to be there. Let me check where I uploaded the writing. I think my network is buffering, so the screen has disappeared, but it's going to just come back. Let me just give it its own time. So that's how you're going to be accessing the notes. I hope that is clear. So if you don't see this screen, you can send the request. I've always been updating the group where you can send the request, then you can be added to the program. Okay? And be added to the program so you can easily trace your notes easily. So right now, as these network buffers continue to buffer here, I'm going to open my PyCharm. I hope each and every person here has PyCharm. If you don't have PyCharm, I already shared the steps to download it, but I can show you how to do it again I can show you again how to do it in 2 minutes. Hey, can you hear me, guys? Because I can see my network is having an issue. Even the presentation is reconnecting. Can you hear? Oh, I left the meeting long time ago. So I'm going to leave, then I'm going to rejoin. I think that is Okay. Hey, guys, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry for the network issue. So I'm back. I was showing you something before I left. I think this page disappeared. So can you see my presentation? Not really. So I'm going to present it. So we just finish with that part. Okay. You guys can see now my presentation. That is clear. So up to this step, we are all updated. So here I was saying, once you are here, you can see these steps are supposed to be 16 of them. Okay, so I'm going to finish to upload every notes. Don't worry about that. Right now I've already uploaded the first 4 classes. So here, when you click on the drop down menu that appears for the first class, you're going to see what is supposed to be covered in the first class. So when you click on the first one, the note is supposed to appear. You can see these notes are summarized. It is not about getting to suffer with a lot of notes. So just a simple notes. Then what are you going to be doing? The moment you the moment you finish like writing a simple script, you're already good with this part. You just click on complete step. You continue. You go to the next one. And you can see the button for the next step is here. Next. So when you go to the next step, you can see the notes. This is Python syntax and basic concept. The notes is here. So when you complete, you just say complete. Next. So you can see when you keep completing the steps, don't tick what you've not covered. So the moment you finish everything, you can see the percentage is increasing. It was initially 0, but right now it is at 11. Why? Because it is only recognizing 4 steps, but I believe when I'm going to upload everything up to class number 16, this should be even less than 2%. So I'm just trying to tell you, the moment anything you cover, anything we shall be covering, you shall be getting it in the website for all our programs. This is how we make our work simple for our learners. So any person who logs into the course page and to access the notes, even if you finish the course, you can always get the revision here. The notes will never be deleted. What we do is just updating the notes, uploading more videos on the same, guiding people, sending assignments, uploading projects that aligns with the. So that is how our website is friendly. Apart from this, there's something I was to show you. Oh, I was to show you now PyCharm. We are going direct to PyCharm. So, everyone here has PyCharm. If you don't have it, in a minute, I'm going to download it. So, how to download PyCharm? I'm going to share a different. I'm going to share one. So, you to your web browser or search engine that you are using, then you can type there what. Just go type PyCharm download, enter. So here, the first link that appears is the right link from JetBrains. PyCharm for Python IDE was developed by JetBrains. So the first link that appears is the right link. You click on it. After clicking on it, you can see here, the one that appears is PyCharm Unified Product. This is what I was calling the professional, okay? This one is a paid one. You'll see the PyCharm Community Edition. This is what you're supposed to download. Okay, you just click on download and it's going to, because I already have it, I'm not going to download. So apart from this one, when you download your PyCharm and it's not working, it depends now with your laptop. You're supposed to add something called the Python download here. It is an interpreter for PyCharm. You can just come and download Python. Then the system will you don't have to suffer by telling the system to recognize it. So you just download the latest version, this one here. So if your PyCharm doesn't work well with your laptop, you can add this one, Python. Then you will not be using Python. We shall be using PyCharm. Python will be used as an interpreter. Okay, that is the process. If you don't have PyCharm yet, you can side chat me. I will guide you how to do it. I can do a video. I have all the time with me. So I want to show you PyCharm. The moment you download this, what you're supposed to have. So allow it to open. Then I'm going to share the screen. So has it opened? Not yet, not yet. Let me check it. I'll just give it time. I'm really running a lot of screens here. I hope it's going to come. Let's give it time. Okay, it's ready here. Guys, allow me now. Guys, allow me now. Allow me to do what? Allow me to present a different screen. I want to introduce you to the window. So here is it. Present something else. Okay, so window. Something went wrong. Okay, the issue. Just a minute. Give me some 2 minutes to solve this. Let me close PyCharm. Now, okay, so I'm going to restart it because it was giving an issue. So let me run it again. Okay, I think now it's opening the way it's supposed to open. So a minute there. Okay, let me share my screen. In the next, it's already 9 p.m. Yeah, East African time. So the moment it opens, we shall be done in 10 minutes. Hey, Google not responding. Just hold on, just hold on. I'm sorting this. Okay, can you guys see my screen? Yes, it is there. Yes, it is there. Now here, when you open PyCharm, this is what you're going to meet. This is what you're going to meet. It's going so direct, but let me come back here. Let me admit the person who wants to join first. Can so the moment you open this is the second step. I don't know why it's like opening directly to this place, but I'm going to explain. The moment you open PyCharm, it is going to take you to a window where you're supposed to create a project. Then you can give that project a name. Like, for example, you can give it a name like Python class 1. Then after giving it a name, it's going to appear here. You see, here we have project. I hope you guys can see my screen. So in case of anything, you just let me know. So uh, you create the project, you type the name, then you click on create project. After creating the project, this is the window that is going to appear. Now this is the second window, the one you can see here. So this window here, the one you can see it, this is your project. For example, mine is called data ski. This is what I created, okay? So the moment you're here, what next? You're supposed to create a Python file because what do you want to do? You want to do Python programming. So you here on your project name, depending on the name that you give your project, like maybe project 1 or Python project 1. Now mine is data ski. Here, you right click. When you right click, you have an option of new. There are very many options here, but you go with the new. This new option, you click on Python file. Python file, then you give it a name. Okay, let me give it a name like intro. Enter. Your intro is going, don't mind the spelling, I missed the spelling. Your intro is going to open here. Can you see it? This is how it's going to form. So, the moment this one has formed here, what next? Here now you can start to write your codes, okay? How? For example, something that everyone will always start with is a very simple program. So you can start with writing a simple program. So let me just say a simple program. So put a hashtag in program. You put a hashtag. It's called commenting. You're commenting on that code, on that line. Like you don't want your software to read that code. Okay. So the moment you comment on it, it's not going to run. So a simple program. Every person will always start with print to test if Python is working. Print hello world. That is always. So because I want hello world to be printed in my output, I put it in double quotes. Okay, so print hello world. Then I run it. You can see the button for running is just here, a green one. So when you click on it, it is going to run, and you can see here hello world has been printed. Okay, so you can just what you downloaded is working. Print my Joseph. Then you run. You can see it here. My name is Joseph. So that is always the first thing, just to test if your code is running. Then I want to show you some basic syntax, maybe comment and print statements. It's just the same as this one. Okay, you can print anything. So just write print. You see, I want you to master what I'm doing if you're a total beginner. When you open the bracket, you don't have to close it. It opens and closes it by default. Then you can put the double quote. After putting the double quote, the next thing is to do what? To write now what you want to print. Maybe the line of code. So you're going to start from here writing programs. Don't worry. This is how it always starts from. Then you just click on just click on your file. So the next thing, you can create as many Python files as possible. So I want to show you some variables and data types. It's very important. We have different types of variables and data types in Python, such as the string. String will take things like the name. We have integer that will take whole numbers. We have the float. Float will take decimal places. We have the boolean that will take true and false. So I want to show you. So I can create another Python file. You just come here on your project name, right click, you say new Python file. So I can call it intro 2. You can't give the same name. Intro 2. A new window has been created. So you can create as many as possible over here. So here I want to teach you how to declare variables. I want to show you some data types. So I'm going to comment. To comment is just to give instructions. So the moment I put hashtag, I'm commenting, and that line won't affect my code. So here I want to do what? Declaring variables. Is there an issue? Because I'm not in the meeting window, I'm in the Python window. So if there's an issue, you can just open the microphone and speak. So declaring variables is like assigning variables. When you go to RStudio, it is usually name you assign to Alice. You use this assigning button, but in Python it's different. Here it's easy. You say name is equals to, then you assign name to what? Alice. You must put it in double quotes because it's a string. This one is a string because a string will take words. So I put a comment just to guide you guys. I say that is a string. Then age is an integer. Integer, you don't have numbers, you don't put in double quotes, you just put them like that. You won't run to an error. So I can comment and say this is an integer. Then I can say the height is also an integer. Let me put it to a float. A float is a decimal place. So this is what type of data type is a float. So we have very many different types of data types. Then we also have a boolean. Boolean will take true or false, yes or no, okay? Boolean expression. So is student, it's like you can give it a different name. This is what me I've decided to give it as my variable name for is he or is she a student. So is student true. So this is what data type, variable type. This is a boolean. So printing your variables, let me comment and say maybe we want to print our variables. Remember, we've already assigned. We've assigned name to Alice, age to 25, height to 5.5, a student is equals to true. So for you to print, we want to print results. So I'm going to start with print. Then I'm not going to call the names again. Like for example, Alice, I will call the variable name. That is how Python works. You don't have to call Alice. Call the variable name. Alice has been assigned to what variable name? Has been assigned to name. So here I'm going to put in double quotes name, and the name, when I put a colon, I want it to display what? I want it to display name. So here name will be what? Name will be, what is our name? Our name is Alice. It will pick from the variable. So you can see an error because the colon is supposed to be inside the double quote because it's supposed to be printed. Then after name, let me assign another variable. Let me print an age. So age, I'll write print, and I want to print in double quotes, age, colon. So age will call age as a variable name that I've assigned. Then another one is what? Another one is let me print what? The next is height. So height, of course, I'm going to put inside and say height. These ones that I'm putting in quotes is how I want the name to appear in my output. So height, I'm going to assign to what? Height we assign to variable called height. Then the last one is a print a question like, is a student, should be in double quotes, sorry. So this is like a question, is a student then I can put the double quote again. Then is a student is a boolean. I assigned it to a variable called is underscore student. So we are having errors. Why? Because you are putting something that is supposed to be printed in double quotes and then calling the variable, commas are supposed to be here. Comma is separate with a comma. So the moment I put a comma, you can see disappearing. Comma. So you can see I have no error. That is how PyCharm is very friendly. The moment you have an error, for example, let me remove this comma. You can see an error is here. It's going to indicate here that 3 errors, 1 warning. So when you click here, it's going to explain to you expected comma. You can see. So it's friendly. Like this is now what I call understanding the syntax. You don't have to struggle. So when you run to an error, you can click on that error and it's going to tell you. So let me return the comma. To run this, you can see name Alice, age 25, height 5.5, is a student, true. So I have just called my variables, okay? Because name was Alice. Remember, I've been putting name, colon, then I called the variable. The variable for Alice was what? Name, okay? So that is how you can assign variables. So variables are assigned using, you just pick any variable name like age, name, height, and then you can put an equal sign. Then if it's a string, it must be in double quotes. If it's an integer, any number, you don't have to put in quotes. Then you can call the variables later. This is an introduction. You're going to see how we shall be calling. Okay? We shall be calling variables. Let me create another file. I right click here, say new, create a Python file. I want us to do some arithmetic. Don't mind the spelling, but I think it is right. So arithmetic, I want to assign variables. And I want us to agree that when assigning variables, don't put in double quotes. So my variable one, I'm going to call it number one, num1, just a short form. So num1, I assign it to 10. Then num2, I assign it to what? 3. So I want to print some output. Let me comment and say print. So what do you want to print? Number one, I want to print the addition. So I'm going to open and say addition. That is what I want to appear in my output. I put a colon and then you must put a comma. Remember that was an error, so don't forget it. Addition is what? Of course, it's going to be num1 plus num2. It's very direct. Enter. So why num1 is giving an error? Because here I put double M. So if it's maybe you want to print subtraction, it's going to be what? Print subtraction. Is it subtraction? It is subtraction. Then comma, it's going to be num1. You call the variables, okay? Minus num2, that is subtraction. Enter. Then let's say we want to print, we can print what? Division. These things are easy here. So to print division, I can say division is gonna be comma num1 over num2. That is very simple. If it was multiplication, I could do what? Multiplication. Then I call my variables. It could be num1 times num2. Okay? So am I having an error? Yes, here, comma. So let's say maybe the last one. If you want to print some exponential function, it's going to be, if you want to, exponential is like 10 raised to power 3. These are just some arithmetic function. You're going to see how they're going to help us. So just be keen on the introduction part of Python. I don't want you to be coming back every time to learn about introduction, because these simple things are what you're going to need them. So want to get some expo. I don't need to type the whole thing. Error. Let me put inside. Sorry, again I'm coming into an error. This should be here, comma. Exponential, I said, is num1 raised to num2. So raised to in Python is like double, 1, 2, num2. Then I close. So let me run and see the results. So you can see num1, print addition num1, num2 is 10 plus 3, 13. Subtraction 10 minus 3 is 7. Division is 10 divided by 3, that is the value. Multiplication is 30. Exponential is 10 raised to power 3. That is 1,000. So you can see these things, they're just easy. So you can you can decide to do an assignment. Can you try to get that is very simple, to get the modulus. What is modulus? Let me comment so that I don't affect my code. And try to get the modulus. Modulus, of course, is going to be the same thing, but remember modulus is the remainder. It's going to be num1. Remainder is usually found by percentage, num2. So if you try it, you'll get an answer. You can try it during your free time, then you tell me what you get. So the other thing is relational operators. I was forgetting. That is very important. It opens your mind. I'm really taking your time, guys. Sorry, but we are finishing. Relational operators. I'm going to test 2. I'm just creating a new file here, a new Python file. So here, let me assign A. I assign to 10, assign to 5. So variables can be any name, guys. So right now I'm using camp. I can use Z and X, or X and Y, they are common. So I want to get some relational. So number one, I want to test if A is equal to B. So I'm going to say, sorry for the background noise. So is A must be in what? I'm going to ask a question. Is A equal to B? This is a question. No need for that. Then I put a comma. So for you to test if A is equals to B in Python, if you want to text and if something is equal to something, use the double equal sign. So it's going to be, to test that, you're going to test A is equals to B. This one is going to test it. You'll see it. Then let's say I want to test is A not equal to B. A not equal to B. Print. In a programming language, how do you not equal to? Most of the times I've posted such a joke in my status and most people have missed on it. Is A not equal to B? This is a question, so comma. How do you test it? A not equal. So here, for you to test this not equal, not, the word not. Not in Python is an exclamation mark. So not equal to B. I'm going to test it. Then another one, I can test what? Is A greater than B? Print. Test. Is A greater than B? So here, comma. So here, how do you test A is greater than B? That's very direct. A greater than B. Simple. Then the last one can be, is A less than or equal to? Let me just do for you guys for the sake of mastering. Is A less than or equal to B? How do you test this? Comma. So it's going to be A directly less than or equal to B. Simple. My laptop is going off. Let me put it on there. So this is how you test it. This spelling here. I want you to see the results. How the results are going to appear. Let me run. No error. You can see no error. So let me run. You see, is A equal to B? Is 10 equal to 5? False. Is A not equal to B? Is 10 not equal to 5? Is A greater than B? A greater than B, it's true. Is A less than or equal to B? False. Yeah, that is false. So you can see how you test them. That is a relational. You're trying to relate two or more. But now I want to show you the last thing. The last thing I want to show you is logical. Logical is almost similar to this, so I just create a new Python file. So logical, enter. How do you test logical? Let me assign my variable x to true and my variable y to. It's not about integers every time. They try to be creative, eh? So x, y. So I want to test logical operation. So I want it to, let me say I want it to print x and y, comma, x and y. Direct to hivyo, just like that. Sorry for speaking Swahili. Print x or y. Sorry, that's an error. Should be double quotes, x or y, comma. So it's going to be x or y. Enter. Then I want the last one. I'm going to print not x. I'm not in a position to explain this, but I'll be in a position to explain it once you see the results. So not x. I want it to be not x. Remember, not anything that appears in a different color is a function. You see, true is appearing in orange. It is a function. And or not, they are functions. So let me run this. I want to explain it from the results. So x was true, y was false. So let me start with the simple one. Not x, false. So x is true. So if it is not x, it is what? False. So x or y, if you're having true or false, which will come first? True. If you're having x and y, both of them, both true and false, it's like positive and negative. When you take positive times negative, what are you going to get? Negative. So x and y, false. You see? This is how it is. This is how it is. This is how it is. Like, that is how the logical operators works. So the very, very last thing, forgive me for this, is I want us to cover what we've already covered already. Let's come with what? Let me say a simple input. Enter. There's an issue. Luther, what's happening?
Hello guys, I'd like to request that you pardon it was the operation, the exponential operations, please.
Exponential.
Yeah.
Okay, let me go back. Okay. It was under, let me check it. It is here. So exponential, here, what you're supposed to know, we want to test the exponential function. Okay? So you're supposed to know the definition of exponential. Okay? What is the definition of exponential in mathematics? Directly from Google. If you go to Google, it's going to tell you 2 times, like something becoming larger. So here, what we want to achieve is we have number 1 and we have number 2. Okay, I'm going to run it again so that you see the result here while I explain. Number 1 is 10, number 2 is 3. So we want to increase number 1 2 times number 2. Like, we want to increase number 1 by number 3. By number 2, sorry for confusion. We want to increase number 1 by number 2. Like, it's like you want to raise number 1 by number 2. So that is like 10 raised to 3. So when it comes to Python, you don't write number 1 raised to number 2. You write 2 multiplication sign. And multiplication sign in Python is the star. Okay, so what you write is, you write 2 stars. It is going to take 10 raised to power 3. and a 10 raised to power 3 is 1000. So if you want to raise a number, if you want to take a number and raise it by another number, you use 2 multiplication sign. This one, we are going to apply it in, let me see where we can apply this one. How can this apply in real life situation? Because we are going to be building real world projects, and we shall try to use the exponential function and see how the system is going to come. We shall see it, don't worry. So I was talking about a simple input. I want to see a simple input from what we've covered generally. So here, I'm going to comment and say, I want us to take an input from a user. An input from a user. By the way, the first time I learned about this, I was very happy to see that I can also come up with something like this. And it was very easy. So name, this is a variable. Name, I'm going to assign it to input. Input is a function. You can see here, don't worry, I'm going to teach you how to master the syntax of Python, okay? I have not crammed these things. There's a way that I'm getting them from this PyCharm window. It's very easy. I just want you guys to remain positive. So, input, you can see, the moment you write something and it changes a color, just know that is an inbuilt function in Python. So you can see input has changed. So input, I want this user to do what? To enter your name. This is like a question. I'm asking him a question. Should be in double quotes. Anything you want it to be printed in the console, it should be in double quotes. In the output should be in double quotes. So enter your name. This is the question I'm going to ask. So enter your name. Going to put here a space so that I can give him a space to enter the name. Then another one is going to be age. It will be input, and at the same thing, enter your space. So then after I've requested the user to do this, I want to do what? To print user input. User's input in case they're many. You should just use a sample of one. So I want to print the result. So I'm going to print, let me say I want to print something like hello. Hello, let's say the person enters the name like John. So I want to print hello John. You are 5 years of age. So maybe the person enters the name John, age 5. So hello John, you are 5 years of age. So how do I do this? I'm going to use the print function because of course I want to print it. So because I want to print it, what follows? I must put the double quote. So hello John. So John, remember this is a name that the user is going to input. So I'm not supposed to get it from guessing. I'm supposed to call it from this variable name because the user has inputted the name in this variable name. So to call this variable, so let me say I'm going to have a comma, hello comma, and then I want to call my variable name. So to call my variable, I'm going to put another double quote. Sorry, there's okay, let me return it. So let me put another double quote, and then I say, let me call my variable name, because this is a statement. You call it in a different way. For you to call it, you're going to use the plus name plus. Explain that, don't worry. Then I open my double quotes again, and I want to call now the age. But before that, remember it's hello John, you are. So you are, it is not from the variable. This is a plain statement that I'm typing. So I'm going to put an exclamation mark to tell Python that this one is not from the variable. So you are. Then after writing you are, I want to call my age. For you to call the age, plus age, remember age is the variable name here. So plus age plus open quotes again, because now I want again to tell Python to finish now the statement, years old. So what is this thing going to do? It's going to form a statement by getting the name that the user has. Remember, we don't have the name. We require the user to input the name. Then after the user inputs the name, He also supposed to input the age. Then we print hello, name, you are age that the user has inputted, years old. So you're going to see how this works. So you can see what comes first. Enter name. So name is who? Let me enter name here as Mary. You can see. So when you enter name Mary, enter age 34. 34, enter. It prints, hello Mary, you are 34 years old, and it finishes. You see, this is how it works. So you can add very many things: name, age, marks. Hello Mary, of 34 years of age, you've scored 35 in English. You can just try to be creative so that you get to understand how variables work. You also get to understand how the print function works. Okay, this was just a simple output. And then as I finish, there's something that is very common, and it will be very bad for me not to show you this in the introduction class. We are 30
So,
minutes late. Yes?
excuse me, please. Before you finish up or before you cover the next thing,
Okay.
I'd like us to kindly pardon what we've been doing, the printing users input.
Okay.
There's a place where I've not understood calling calling the additional inputs.
Okay. Yeah, I see. I understand your question. Okay. Here, the first thing here, we are having a variable called name. The second thing, we are having a variable called age. Inside this variable, we are not forming the variables direct like we used to do it here in arithmetic. The first variable is equals to 10. We are not doing that. We require the user to input the name. So because we require the user to input the name, we are using the input function. Okay? You're supposed to know that there's a function called input. It will allow the user to type here in the output area. So after, it cannot go to the next line of code if the user has not provided the name. After the user has provided the name, the next thing, the code requires the user to input the age. So you use again input, and because you want it to ask the user enter your age, you must put it in double quotes, and after the colon, before you close the double quote, there must be a space over here for the user to have space to type, or for the colon not to combine with the name of the user. You see, this space, this is what I'm talking about here. There should be a space here. So if you add a larger space, it will also be so large here. So printing, we want to form a very simple statement from the user's input. And the statement should be, hello Mary, you are 34 years of age. This one is very direct. I'm going to type it again. So you come and say print. Then what do you want to start with? Hello. Hello is not a variable. It is not assigned to any variable. So must be in double quotes. You say hello, comma, because maybe you just want the comma to appear after hello. Okay? So after saying hello, you want to call the name. Okay? For you to call this name in Python, for you to call a variable in a statement, you must put it in plus plus so that it picks the name from the variable assigned. So we are going to do it. So you have something like this, you've put a comma. You cannot type inside here. Okay? At this point, hello comma, your code is breaking. So you are supposed to go like outside the double quote and say plus name for you to call. For you to call it. You can put space, you can fail to put space. No problem with that. Then after doing this, you want to continue with the statement you are. Okay? So for you not to interfere with this variable that you are calling, you must put another double quotes for you to continue with your statement. You are. Okay? You are what? Age. You are calling the age again. You're not going to, because the moment you type inside here, they are going to be green in color. It is not going to be called. And that is the reason you are supposed to go outside. Then you call it. Let me normalize adding space. So you call it again age, you use plus. So because if you continue, they're going to be white. Okay? Because you want to finish your statement, you can finish it from here, but because you want to add years old and you don't want it to be white in color to affect the variable, you must open quotes again and say years old, so that the variables are not affected. So let me comment on this so that we see how the new one appears. So let me run this. Just run it. Enter your name, Joseph, John, enter. Enter your age, 78, enter. Hello, John, you are 78 years of age. You can see spacing. You, John and you have combined. So John and you, that is after the name, I have no space. Space is supposed to be here. Then R and 78 have combined. So R and age. So space supposed to be here. So if I run again, John, enter, age 78, enter. You can see now it's okay. That's how you call it. So here something you're supposed to master is just the point of not interfering with your variables. So you have to introduce as many double quotes as possible for you to avoid interfering with the flow of your code. That is how it is. I hope that is clear now. So most people will always start with this thing here. This is the last thing. A simple calculator in Python. It is common. It's like, as a beginner, you're supposed to know it. So I want us to do a simple calculator that does what? Adds two numbers. Okay? So of course here, for you to come up with this simple calculator, you are supposed to add two numbers, so you're supposed to have two variables. Let me call it num1. I assign it to input, of course, just like the other. What do you want to input? Open this one. I know this one you are now understanding. Enter the first number. Enter the first number, space. Then after doing that, what next? Num2 going to be input first for the user to be able to input. Enter the second. Why am I missing on spelling every time? Enter the second number, space. So I want to my calculator now. How do you do a calculator? Of course, it's add two numbers. So I want to write a function that will add two numbers. Function to add two numbers. So function to add two numbers. What is the function? It's going to be easy. Assign it to a variable. It's going to be sum. It's going to be num1 plus num2. That's why I told you what you're covering is a combination of what we've already done. It's here. We did it where? To get the sum. Was it here? Arithmetic. For you to get the addition is you use the addition sign plus, just simple as like that. Someone was trying to join. Okay, let me admit the person. So num1 plus num2 was here, calculator. So this is the function. So I'm going to call this function called the sum in my calculator. Okay, that's what I'm going to. So let me call it. The last thing is now displaying the results. That's like now my calculator. You see how we're going to call the function. So how we just agreed, you're going to print. What do you want to print? A statement. The sum of what? Comma, number 1 and number 2. Okay? So I call the functions. That is num1. Then, because I don't want to interfere with the flow of my variable, num1, you see when I continue, it's going to be white in color. So for you to continue the statement, and, because I want to add and, I'll put again in quotes, and, comma, again I call number 2. My second variable is num2, comma. Because I don't want to interfere with the flow, because when I continue, it's going to be white. So I want to present something that the sum of number 1 and number 2 is sum. I call this function here, the one I've defined here. So I want to continue. The sum of num1 and num2 is, because is not part of my variable and I can't continue like that, I put again double quote, is. Then I want it to display like this, length is, comma. What am I going to call is sum, so that it's going to add and call this function here. It's going to do it automatically. So let me try to run this. I can see some yellow lines. Okay, red lines are usually error. Yellow lines are usually warning. So let me see what the warning is saying. Redeclared num1 above without usage. Okay, I don't understand the warning. So let me run and see what is the worst it can do. Okay, run. Enter the first number, 5. Enter. Enter the second number, 10. Let me admit the person who is trying to join. So enter the first number, I've entered 5. Enter the second number, 10. So enter. Print. The sum of 10 and 10 is 10. Is that right? That is an error, and that's why I have a warning, because how is this thing reading? You can see the sum of num1 and num2, and my number 1 is 5 from what I've entered here. Number 2 is 10 from what I've entered here. So the sum of 5 and 10 is supposed to say is, the sum of 5 and 10 to say is 15. But you can see the error is it's like repeating. It's like picking the second number only. The sum of 10 and 10 is 10. So what might be the issue? So let me check the issue. I'm going to use a function called the float. So there's a function called float. Let me define it here and explain to you what is float. That is what my formula is missing. If I add the float function, everything is going to be good. Float, it converts the input. Know that it always converts the input to a number. Why am I getting this issue? It's because my code is unable to identify the input as the number. So for me to make sure that, because I want to get an addition of number 1 and number 2, in fact, this one here is also an error, plus. Should be very keen. For me to be able to read number 1 and number 2 as numbers, it doesn't matter that here you've entered 5. Python is not going to automatically know that 5 is a number. You must tell it. So for you to tell it, you call the float function here before the input here. Let me call it. So here it is very simple. Just come and add float, open the bracket, and you're going to have an issue. Why are these errors displaying? It's because you are opening 2 brackets, this one, and you're closing one. So I just add, and the errors have disappeared. Same to number 2. I'm going to add a function called float. Then I open a bracket. You can see errors. It's because of minimum number of brackets. So when I close, you can see the errors have disappeared. The errors have disappeared. So let me try to run again and see if this is going to work now. So enter the first number. The user is required to enter the first number, 5. Enter the second number, 10. And it's print. The sum of 5 and 10 is 15. Guys, do you agree with me now? You can see that is a simple calculator. So that is like a sample project of a beginner. You see, when I was a beginner, the first time I wrote something like that, I was very happy. In fact, I was very happy to see me. I can also request Python to display the first number. I put the first number, the second number, I put the second number, then it generates the addition for me. So can you try maybe another simple for subtraction? Then can you also try for multiplication? But that is during your free time. Normally, I usually give assignments. We are 46 minutes past our time. It means that having a 1 hour class is a lie. We shall just be seeing what we can do. So I want to give you assignment. Assignment from what we've covered. From what we've covered, let me just copy this. Or I'm going to, I don't know how to do it. I want you to write a program that takes the username. Okay, I'm going to send the assignment to you guys. So this was just introduction of PyCharm. You can see it is very friendly. If you are just feeling negative about what you've seen, I want you to remain positive. I'm going to give you a shortcut of getting the code syntax of how to use PyCharm easily. I'm going to introduce you to Jupyter Notebook. You're going to see how it is even more friendly than PyCharm. I'm going to teach you something called prompt engineering because we are in 2025, so we should not be running away from prompt engineering. So I'm also going to show you it is a shortcut of writing codes. I don't want to introduce you into this in the first class because most of you guys will now find it very easy. But now you see, it is good to get the introduction part of it, at least grab something, get some knowledge, then now start using the shortcuts. So that was the introduction part of this class of our Python programming. I hope it's been a good session. I'm going to send you guys assignment just for practice. Then you can always submit it. Let's just move on together. You see, I want to promise you that by the time you're going to be having our 9th class, when you get to the 9th class, you can now miss the rest of the classes because you'll be good to go. The moment you master variables, you master function, you master how to assign variable names, you master how to call them, you master how to call the output in the print section using the print function, you master the float, you master input, you come up with very small project like this one here. You try to be creative, add some emojis in your code, you're good to go. So this was just introduction. I hope it was a good session. Thank you guys for attending. You really mean a lot. I want to wish every person here a blessed evening. And it's Friday. Enjoy your weekend.